Hey, greetings everybody. As we approach the end of the first half 2019, I want to share some insights and observations from this humble perspective heading into the second half of the year, and let's just have at it. I have been honored and privileged to be trading alongside some of the great traders and highly respected funds in the industry as a part of our network over the past year, and I want to thank them for their participation, their contribution to the continued evolving of our network. And I want to thank everybody out there who gives back one way or another. I tweeted out recently, again, thanks to all those that especially provide services in terms of what I call a reality of this business. And I want to touch on that in a little bit. But I've certainly, now that I've been back in the public sphere for the last year and a half or so as a trader, and as a home, a venue for a subset of traders. I just want to share some observations that I have. And one of those observations is I think that we as an industry still do a really crappy job in one area. And so we are going to continue to ramp things up in the second half of our year, working with our offices to tighten that up even beyond what we already do. And I think that area is that we need to do a far better job as an industry on bridging the gap between reality and concept. And so when you think about it, we have gone from a day where there was very little information disseminated. And back in the day of pre-internet and early internet and all those days to now, an environment where there's just too much. I'll give you a couple of examples. One is that I just recently subscribed to Barron's. Again, don't ask me why I did this. And they come up with this daily email at the end of the day. In a little bullet fashion, it says, "Market went up because of this. Market went up because trade easing outweighed XYZ fear. Next day, the market went down because this exceeded. It's somewhat comical. I'd really like that job. It's an analyst job, right? It's not a trading job. It's an analyst job. I guess we as human beings have an inquisitive nature. We want to know why things happen, and if you want to know why things happen, I'd suggest you exit the trading business right now. Okay. And I get it. There's a place for that. There's a subscription base for it. There's a revenue stream for it. There's an entertainment value. People feel empowered by more knowledge in terms of why things happen. From a trader's perspective, dangerous. Okay. I want to be all about things that are accretive to the trader's bottom line. I'm not interested in the whys, nor am I interested in as important as planning and preparation is, and homework and roadmaps and all that kind of stuff is as important as they are. It really pales importance compared to the reality of the situation, and what are you doing in the heat of the moment in the reality. And so I want resources, and I want plans, and I want sequences that are accretive to the bottom line of the funds in our office and our network, and accretive to our own as well. And so that, I think, as an industry, we can do a far greater job. And so how do we take this wealth of information, this plethora of information, and boil it down into this is how it can impact your P&L, right? Why are we in an environment where we have so much information available? We have trading venues, my God, with 1,000 people. All the volume, I'm sure making some good money for some people from a subscription basis. How do we turn that into tangible, real trades and real bottom lines, right? And I think we as an industry have fallen short there. I think we've gotten into, and forgive me if I've crossed that line. I probably have at times. I try to rein myself in, but how do we go from this, get everybody piled into? I mean, it's almost like a tulip craze, right? Before people realize that, well, wait a minute, what's really happening here? I had an email this week asking me to consider a scaled down version of what we do, maybe for $50 a month, and get a lot of people in there, all that kind of stuff. Build it out, and there are a few places out there. God bless them for doing it. I can't do that. I can't do that. I want to work alongside a team and a network of offices that is committed to brass tacks, real sequences, real trades at the time they're happening, and being accretive to the bottom line. And you can only do so with a certain number. You can only do so with a certain number. Even in large organizations, businesses, and religious organizations, it's the small group. It's the small group that's important. That's where the work gets done. And so we have this environment where there's so much information, where, what can we do? What can you do as a trader to, it's almost like cable network, there's so many channels. What do you do? You can spend all day, DVRing stuff. You can spend all day recording or watching what you've recorded. And at the end of the day, end of the week, what happens? You look back and the house is a mess. Your business is a mess if you've been focusing on that. Your DVR still has 150 episodes of Chopped that you recorded, but you haven't yet watched, along with everything that's on demand and everything. It's like, where did the week go and what happened to your business and your life? And I humbly think, yet with conviction, that we are now in an environment in this business where the exact same thing is happening. So in kind response to the email that I got, I can't do that. I can't. I know I'd make a lot of money. I want to work alongside a finite set of offices and provide a venue where we are all like brothers and sisters around the table. I can't do that in an auditorium. And so, again, I thank those of you that have been a part of what we do here, and we're committed heading into the second half of this year to making sure that we're talking about real hard knocks, actual trading. There's a social aspect to what we do. Certainly, networking with other people is paramount, is critical. But and we probably haven't done the greatest job in some cases in that area. But we will remain focused, and so we will stay as we are, but continue to refine. We talk about trades live, real stuff, funds making decisions, right? And that just becomes such a part of what we do. And I think there's an area, there's a component perhaps of conviction when you do that. I've tried very carefully over the years, and again, I haven't done the greatest job at this, whether it was the Jelly efforts or whether it was Trading After Dark or whether it was some of the earlier stuff that we did, and certainly in the current network. You have to include live trading. When Damon agreed to do First and Last Call, we talked about it. He includes his actual trades. You got to do that. You got to do that. As wonderful as the conceptual is and the planning is, and patterns and Head and Shoulders and volume profiles and all that, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about volume profile and market profile, TPOs, in terms of they'll always tell you that it's not a signal. It's not a signal. It's a way. Jim Dalton's great at this. It's a way of disseminating and categorizing information that allows you to make some sense out of where a lot of the volume happens. And that's all well and good. And we can talk about points of control and this and that. And we can even talk about the bias grid in our own case, right? And we certainly use profile as a part of what we do and stream that daily as a common source of reference. But folks, how does that equate into your bottom line P&L? We constantly say in our group, analysis does not pay the bills. Analysis, planning, that does not pay the bills, right? I can plan a trip all I want. Unless I step on that gas at the right time and I stop at the right time, I ain't going to get where I'm going to go. And so I can come up with all the reasons on why the market did either before or after the fact. The fact is that none of that results in accretive bottom line, other than actual executions. And this is why I love some of the stuff that Vernon puts out there. It talks about executions. You got to be here all the time, and you got to be here for the executions. And so I think we as an industry, I'll wrap this comment up, we as an industry just do a poor job. I think we do a poor job in that area. And so I commend all of those that are committed to moving from the conceptual to the reality. And we're going to do more of that at this end. So that's that. Another offshoot, but related offshoot of that concept is, and I've been probably overly outspoken in this area over the years, is the tendency that we have in our business to focus still, I shake my head, right, at 9 to 5, the U.S. regular trading hours. I get it. I get it. I get it. It matches the traditional working hours of the American male and female. It matches the old pit hours. It aligns our ability to live life with, with putting a business in that realm. I get it, and there's ways to do that. But the epitaph, I'll have a lot of epitaphs maybe on my tombstone. One of them will be, why? Right? The after hour sessions. We had 2 after hour sessions this evening where we actually recorded. What was it, Wednesday night team? It was just off the cuff, recorded for the members because someone said, I don't get it. I still don't get ETH. And so we took, I don't know what it was, 45 minutes, and we recorded the session. And afterwards he says, oh, I get it now. So similar to what I did in the Wealth 365 effort, it's nothing I've come up with, nothing I have a copyright on, right? The fact is, the God's honest fact, truth of the matter is that the markets move more slowly. You are not shooting at moving targets. You are not competing with many of the funds that can only be active when the volume is there over the course of the U.S. trading day or have to align themselves with the equity, the time the equities are trading for the most part. You get rid of all of that. You develop an understanding and align your business plan with the tendencies that happen as the U.S. market reopens at 6 p.m., as the Nikkei opens at 8, as the Shanghai opens at 9:30, as the DAX opens at 3 a.m. Yeah, the hours are odd, but so are the hours odd for farmers. You want to be in the business of farming, you got to make a decision whether you want to be a farmer, right, or a fisherman or a fisher person, or not. You can't be a farmer and decide to go take care of your fields and cows at 9 a.m. You just can't, right? So I think, again, we as an industry can do a far better job at talking through some of these things. And another reason that the focus at our end has certainly been on those times. We were very, very engaged, very, very active. At least the core subset of our team that's able to trade these hours this past week, and we focused on it, and we tried to ramp up the significance of it with the people that weren't able to be here. And so, you get 2 choices. You can come in at the beginning of the day kind of going over the overnight markets and trying to prepare for what's going to be a cowboy session, and God bless you if you can make some sense of that in the morning. It's just more difficult. Or you can work your schedule such that you're actually trading those earlier times. And that which people are looking at what happened overnight to try to prepare for the cowboy session has been part of what you were engaged in. Or after the fact, there's tremendous opportunity. If you look at the Nikkei Open, the Shanghai Open, and I get the fact that we've got the G20 going on and a lot of the stuff with the trade wars involve Asia and all that. So the times right now are more conducive to when that part of the world wakes up. And I get it's not always like that. But by and large, 60% of the time, 70% of the time, that Nikkei opens, there's a tremendous U.S. E-mini trade sequence and a tendency pattern. And at 9:30, there's one as well when Shanghai opens. And if you're able to trade any part of the Europe session, and you don't have to put up with a lot of this stuff. Yeah, you sacrifice a little bit more, and maybe it's tough for some people to do that because of family obligations and that kind of thing. But again, it's a part of, if I look at voids in this industry, despite all the new information and new venues and all this sort of thing, where's that? So I guess it's my way of trying to say that, what we will remain committed to at our end is honing our particular plans around the availability of true trading opportunity where you can think and focus and size. I tweeted out, I haven't been active on social media much over the past couple of years, let people know the venue and that kind of thing. But I try to be focused on trading. But I did tweet out a couple of things over the course of this week, and one of which was, the significance of people that are struggling during the RTH session. And the picture, Vertimus tweeted this out a couple of times, the miner who almost quite get there, but he doesn't, he gives up, and the other guy who's on his way. And the significance of, if you're struggling as a trader and you're only trading these cowboy hours, please take a step back, make it easier on yourself. sharpen your pick, sharpen your axle, and network with a team that's focused in that area. It doesn't have to be our team; it can be some other team. Again, small groups, small subsets, accountability, reality. So I would encourage all of us, including myself, to look at our P&Ls. Look at our P&Ls over the course of the last 6 months. If you can divide it up by time of day, great. If you can divide it up by any other subsection, the scorecard that we use, for example, find out what worked, find out what didn't work. Lean on those things that did, cut out those that didn't. Please don't get yourself caught into helping define insanity, which, as we all know, is doing the same thing over and over again. We're expecting a different result. Filter yourself from the information. Step back from the crowd. We're really great at developing crowds in this business. We have a crowd mentality. Set yourself apart from the crowd. Right? Focus. Make sure your P&L is accretive. Okay. And I firmly believe that the real sequences, okay, the folks that are willing to stand up and say, okay, I'm in here. I could look tremendously foolish. Doesn't matter. There's no such thing, right? I'm in here. I'm out here, right? Reality, transparency, because all the rest, folks, is interesting. It's insightful, but it doesn't pay the bills. And so I am committed at my end for my own trading business to rededicate myself to my own executions, sharing those executions on a live daily basis, and encouraging others to do the same. Okay, it does take a fairly unique personality trait to do that. But I think that we as an industry can do a far better job on reality. I've had 1,400 trading days validated, audited in advance of the Chronicles of a $1 Million Trader book. We are transparent to a fault in our venue in terms of whether it's options trades, equity trades, futures trades, of sharing those both before and after the fact. So I would encourage all of us to ramp our sense of reality and ramp our own P&Ls and tighten up the executions, right? And you can even talk about what you did or what you would have done, but unless your broker is providing you a statement that shows exactly what you did, it's not going to pay the bills. So, probably going a little deep here. Don't mean to offend anybody, but I as I told my team this week, I care too much about the business. In fact, I will consider opening up the dialogue that we had as a team Wednesday night. I'll have to go back and think about that because we do have some private information, some intellectual property, and some names that I don't want to disclose all the names of the firms and the funds that are in our network, but we'll maybe open up a portion of that to the team because we talked about that quite a bit, and the importance of it. And so anyway, I'll leave you with those thoughts. God bless you. I hope you have a great year. I hope you have a great year. Great second half of the year. Whether it's the end of a month, a week, a day, it's all artificial. It's all artificial. One of the things, I'll leave you this. One of the things we talked about again in that Wednesday night session was the fact that the markets close at 5 p.m. is just artificial. It's just taking a pause for an hour. That's all it's doing. If it's unbalanced to the upside, then trade it to the upside. Don't get locked into this. 5 o'clock is all done. I'm scared of the other stuff because there's no volume. I mean, who's feeding you that BS, right? Expand your horizons a little bit. So anyway, there's some thoughts. I'm rambling a bit. But again, seriously, take a good look at your P&L. Have a great rest of the year. Dedicate yourself to this business. Refine your thinking. Fine tune it. Realize that life is not perfect. That this market is, as I said in the book, this market is full of imperfect traders, imperfect markets, imperfect human beings. Work around that, accept that, work with a small group, be the best that you can be. Some thoughts. Anyway, have a great weekend. Have a great second half of the year. God bless you all. Take care.